There comes a moment in your life when you look in the mirror and you don't even recognize yourself anymore. Not because you've changed for the better, but because you've let the voices of others drown out your own. The criticism, the doubts, the whispers telling you you're not enough, you're too much, you'll never make it. And before you know it, you're living for their approval. You're carrying the weight of opinions that were never yours to carry. But let me tell you something right now. You were not put on this earth to be a prisoner of somebody else's thoughts. You were born with a purpose that no man or woman can define. And every time you let someone get in your head, you give away a piece of that purpose. You silence your own greatness. You trade your power for their permission. It's time to take it back. It's time to silence the noise. The world will always have something to say about you, but that doesn't mean you have to listen. Today, this moment is where you reclaim your mind, where you stop letting people rent space in your head for free. Guarding your mental gate begins with understanding that your mind is sacred. It is the place where your dreams are born, where your faith takes root, where your future begins to form. Yet so often we leave that gate wide open, letting anyone and anything stroll in and plant seeds of doubt, fear, and negativity. We let critics, haters, and people who don't even know our story walk into our minds and tell us who we are. And the saddest part is we believe them. We let their words echo louder than our own voice, louder than the truth we know deep inside. I want you to imagine your mind like a home. You wouldn't leave your front door wide open and let thieves walk in and steal your valuables. So why do you leave the door of your mind open to thieves who steal your peace, your confidence, your joy? Every day you have to stand at that mental door and ask, does this deserve to come inside? Does this serve me or does it weaken me? That's the power you hold. And you must claim it, or the world will take it from you without mercy. When you guard your mental gate, you start to realize that not every opinion matters. Not every voice is worth hearing. There are people out there who will speak from their own pain, their own insecurity, their own failures, and they'll try to dump that onto you. But hear me, you don't have to carry their baggage. Just because someone throws their negativity your way doesn't mean you have to catch it. Let it fall to the ground. Let it pass you by. You have enough battles to fight within yourself. Don't take on other people's wars. When you protect that gate, you learn to pause before you let words settle into your spirit. You learn to ask yourself, is this truth or is this poison? Is this going to help me grow or is it meant to tear me down? Because if it's not truth, if it's not love, if it's not strength, it has no place in your mind. You've got to be intentional. You've got to be fierce. Because your peace is worth fighting for. Too many people let the noise of the world dictate their inner world. They wake up and immediately check their phones, looking at what others are saying, comparing their lives to the highlight reels on social media. They let strangers' opinions seep into their hearts before they even get out of bed. But let me tell you, the mental gate doesn't just protect you from critics. It protects you from comparison, from jealousy, from the trap of thinking you're not enough because someone else seems to have more. When you guard your mental gate, you stop letting the world tell you what success looks like. You define it for yourself. You stop measuring your worth by someone else's timeline. You focus on your own race. Because the truth is, you can't run your race looking over your shoulder at someone else. That's how you stumble. That's how you fall. Keep your eyes on your own path. Stay focused on your purpose and shut the gate to anything that tries to distract you from it. One of the hardest lessons in guarding your mental gate is learning to say no. No to people, no to conversations, no to environments that drain you. Some folks will try to guilt you for setting boundaries. They'll act like you owe them access to your peace, but you don't. Your peace is not up for negotiation. Your mental well-being is not a gift you hand out to anyone who asks for it. It's something you protect with everything you've got. Because when you let just anyone in, they don't always come to build you up. Some come to break you down, to use you to feed off your light. And when you feel empty, they'll move on to the next person. That's why you've got to be strong enough to close the door. Strong enough to guard that gate, even when it's hard, even when it means disappointing people who were never meant to have that kind of access to you in the first place. In the first place, protect your space, protect your energy, because no one else will do it for you. Every day, you are in control of what you let in and what you keep out. You are in control of the thoughts you entertain, the conversations you engage in, the voices you choose to amplify. And let me tell you, that's where your freedom begins. When you start choosing what enters your mind, you stop being a victim of other people's chaos. You stop being a sponge for every negative thing around you. Instead, you become selective. You become deliberate. You become the guardian of your own peace. And it's not about being cold. It's not about shutting the world out completely. It's about being wise. It's about knowing that your mind is the most powerful tool you have, and that anything that weakens it is not welcome. So the next time someone tries to plant seeds of doubt in your head, the next time negativity comes knocking, remember, you hold the key. You decide what stays. You decide what grows. You are the keeper of your mind. Guarding your mental gate is a lifelong practice. It's not something you do once and forget about. It's something you commit to every single day. Because the world will keep trying to get in. The doubts will come. The critics will speak. The storms will rage. But if you stay grounded, if you stay alert, if you stand at that gate with courage and wisdom, nothing can shake you. Nothing can take from you what God put in you. And that's the kind of strength that changes everything. That's the kind of strength that allows you to walk through this life with peace, with confidence, with purpose. So today, make that choice. Stand at your mental gate. Be vigilant, be bold. And don't let anyone or anything take residence in your mind that doesn't belong there. Because your mind is your kingdom. And it's time you protect it like one. When you live your life constantly seeking validation from others, you hand over your power piece by piece. You start measuring your worth based on whether people clap for you, whether they approve of your choices, whether they say the right words that make you feel good in the moment. But here's the truth, and I want you to feel this in your soul. The applause fades. The approval fades. The validation that comes from others is like smoke. It disappears before you can even grab hold of it. And then what are you left with? An emptiness. A need to chase it again. And again and again. It becomes a cycle that wears you down because you start living for people who don't even know the battles you're fighting. You start adjusting yourself to fit into their idea of who you should be. And what happens? You lose yourself. You forget what it felt like to live for your own joy, for your own peace, for your own purpose. You begin to shrink so you can fit into the small boxes other people create for you. And the worst part is that they'll never be satisfied. No matter how much you change, no matter how much you give, it's never enough. There's a dangerous trap hidden in the need for validation, and most people don't see it until it's too late. When you rely on someone else's approval to feel good about yourself, you give them the power to control your emotions. Think about that. You're giving strangers, coworkers, friends, even family members the keys to your peace of mind. If they praise you, you're happy. If they criticize you, you're broken. Your self-esteem becomes a roller coaster that rises and falls based on their words. And here's the thing, people are fickle. One day they're cheering for you, the next day they're tearing you down. One day they love you, the next day they forget your name. So if you let their opinions define you, you'll spend your whole life trying to keep up, trying to please people who are impossible to please. You'll find yourself exhausted, drained, empty, and wondering why you feel like you're never enough. The validation you seek outside yourself will never fill the void inside. That's work you have to do on your own. That's peace you have to build from within, brick by brick, until no one's opinion can shake it. Is one of the greatest freedoms you'll ever experience is the moment you stop needing the world's approval. Imagine waking up and not caring whether people like your decisions, your looks, your dreams. Imagine making choices based on what brings you peace, not what brings you applause. That kind of freedom is rare because from a young age, we're taught to seek validation. We're praised when we follow the rules, when we fit in, when we do what's expected. We're criticized when we dare to be different, when we choose our own path. So we grow up chasing approval like it's oxygen. We start to believe that we need it to survive. But you don't. You were born with everything you need to validate yourself. The strength, the worth, the beauty. It's already inside you. You just have to stop looking for it in other people's eyes. Because the moment you do, you realize how much time you've wasted trying to win a race that was never meant for you. And when you finally let go of that need, you'll feel lighter. You'll feel stronger. You'll feel free. People will always have opinions. That's what people do. They judge, they compare, they criticize, sometimes because of their own insecurities, sometimes because they don't understand your journey, and sometimes because they simply want to see you fall. But you don't have to let those opinions shape you. You don't have to take them in like they're truth. Stop letting people's approval become the measure of your success. Stop letting their words decide whether you feel worthy or not. Because the truth is, no matter how hard you try, you can't please everyone. And if you keep trying, you'll lose yourself along the way. You'll wake up one day and not recognize the person staring back at you in the mirror. You'll see someone who has spent so long trying to be who others wanted that you forgot who you really are. But here's the beauty of it. You can change that today. You can decide right now that your validation comes from within, that your worth isn't up for debate, that you don't need permission to be proud of yourself, to chase your dreams, to stand tall in who you are. You see, when you stop seeking validation, you start building a stronger, deeper relationship with yourself. You begin to trust your own voice, your own heart, your own instincts. You stop second-guessing every decision, wondering if people will approve, wondering if they'll clap for you. Instead, you learn to clap for yourself. You learn to celebrate your victories, no matter how small. Because you know the work it took to get there. You stop needing the world to tell you that you're enough, because you've already told yourself. And that's a powerful place to be. Because the world is noisy. The world is filled with voices trying to tell you who to be, how to live, what to want. But when you're grounded in self-mitigation, those voices lose their power. They become background noise. You stop living for the crowd and you start living for your calling. And that's where true peace begins. When you no longer need the outside world to tell you what you already know deep inside your soul. Every day you wake up, you have a choice. You can choose to chase approval, or you can choose to stand in your own truth. You can choose to exhaust yourself trying to make everyone happy, or you can choose to honor yourself in your path. And let me tell you, the second choice will always bring you more peace. It's not always easy. People might not understand. Some may even walk away when you stop bending over backward for their validation. But that's okay. The people who truly love you, the ones who matter, they don't need you to seek their approval. They love you for who you are, not for what you do to win their favor. So stop running in circles trying to win the applause of people who don't even see the real you. Start walking straight in your purpose. Start living for the approval that comes from within, because that's the kind of validation that lasts. That's the kind that strengthens you. That's the kind that sets you free. And once you taste that freedom, you'll never want to go back. Every single day, from the moment you open your eyes, the world starts feeding your mind. The question is, what are you allowing it to feed you? Are you filling your spirit with truth, with strength, with words that build you, or are you letting in the noise? Because the noise is everywhere. The noise tells you that you're not enough, that you're behind, that you need to look a certain way, live a certain way, be a certain way to matter. The noise shouts at you through social media, through gossip, through comparison, through negativity that doesn't belong in your heart. And the more you consume that noise, the more you start to believe it. You start doubting your own voice. You start thinking that maybe the world is right and you are wrong. But let me tell you something. The world doesn't get to define your truth. The world doesn't know the fire that burns inside you. The world is only disappointed. The world doesn't get to define your truth. The world doesn't know the fire that burns inside you. The world doesn't know what God put in you. So stop feeding on the noise. Stop letting lies become your daily bread. Start choosing what you feed your mind, because what you feed your mind will either strengthen you or slowly destroy you. Phew. You can't rise while filling yourself with garbage. You can't become your best self when your mind is cluttered with things that don't serve your growth. You've got to be intentional about what you allow into your mental space. Every negative word, every toxic voice, every useless comparison is like poison to your soul. And if you're not careful, you'll let those poisons in little by little, thinking it's harmless, thinking it doesn't matter. But over time, they build up. They weigh you down. They cloud your vision. And before you know it, you can't even see your own potential anymore, because all you see is what the noise has told you. That's why you have to choose truth. You have to seek it out, fight for it, hold on to it with everything you've got. Because truth will set your mind free. Truth will remind you who you are. Truth will give you the strength to stand tall in a world that wants to break you down. But it starts with you deciding to tune out the noise and tune in to what really matters. The noise will always be loud. It will always try to pull your attention, distract you, make you question yourself. The noise is designed to keep you small, to keep you stuck, to keep you dependent on the world's approval. That's why feeding your mind with truth is an act of rebellion. It's an act of strength. When you choose to fill your mind with what uplifts you, what aligns with your purpose, what reminds you of your worth, you are choosing to rise above the chaos. And that's not easy because the noise is constant. It comes from people who doubt you, from systems that want to limit you, from fears that try to creep in. But you've got to be louder than the noise. You've got to speak truth to yourself daily. You've got to remind yourself that you are chosen, that you are capable, that you are powerful beyond measure. And that truth isn't something you find in the opinions of others. That truth lives inside you. You just have to stop drowning it out with the noise you were never meant to carry in the first place. When you start feeding your mind with truth, you'll feel the difference. Your spirit will feel lighter. Your confidence will grow. Your decisions will come from a place of clarity, not confusion. Because truth anchors you. It gives you a foundation that can't be shaken by every passing opinion, by every storm that tries to break you. But you have to choose that truth every day. You have to wake up and say, today I choose to believe in myself. Today I choose to feed my mind with what strengthens me, not what weakens me. And sometimes that means walking away from conversations that drain you. Sometimes that means turning off the news, logging off social media, and sitting in stillness long enough to hear your own voice again. The world will keep trying to feed you noise, but you don't have to take the bait. You have the power to choose what you consume mentally and spiritually. And when you choose truth over noise, you begin to see the world differently. You begin to see yourself differently. You begin to step into the power that was always yours. Think about this. What you put into your mind shapes your reality. If you keep feeding on negativity, if you keep consuming messages that tell you what you can't do, what you'll never be, that's exactly what will take root in your spirit. And those seeds will grow into fear, into doubt, into limitation. But when you feed your mind with truth, real truth, the kind that reminds you of your strength, your worth, your purpose, you plant seeds that grow into courage, into hope, into unstoppable faith. And that's the garden you want to be tending to every day. Because the mind is fertile ground. Whatever you plant there will grow. So be careful what you're planting. Be mindful of the voices you listen to, the words you speak over yourself, the thoughts you entertain. Choose to feed on truth so that your mind becomes a place where faith flourishes, where dreams take shape, where peace lives. That's how you rise. That's how you break free from the chains of noise and step into the life you were meant to live. There will always be temptations to feed on the noise. There will always be voices trying to pull you into fear, into self-doubt, into comparison. But you have to be stronger than that. You have to be intentional about feeding your mind with what lifts you, not what limits you. That means surrounding yourself with people who speak life into you, who remind you of your greatness, who encourage you to keep going when the road gets hard. That means reading things that inspire you, listening to words that empower you, filling your space with reminders of who you truly are. The world will try to sell you lies every single day. It will tell you that you're not good enough, not smart enough, not strong enough. But you don't have to buy into those lies. You can choose truth. And the more you choose truth, the quieter the noise becomes. The more you choose truth, the stronger you become. The more you choose truth, the freer you become. Because at the end of the day, what you feed your mind is what you will become. And you deserve to become everything you were created to be. At the end of the day, everything comes down to what you allow into your heart and mind. When you stop letting people get in your head, when you stop seeking their approval, when you stop feeding on the noise and choose to feed your mind with truth, that's when real change begins. That's when you start walking with a new kind of strength. A strength that no one can take from you, because you're no longer chasing after opinions, no longer desperate for applause, no longer looking outside for something that was always inside you. And it's a beautiful thing, because when you free yourself from the chains of validation and the grip of other people's thoughts, you finally give yourself permission to live. You give yourself permission to rise, to dream, to fail and try again, to stand tall in your purpose without fear of judgment. The noise will still be there. The critics will still speak, but their voices won't matter because your voice, your truth will be louder than all of it. That's the power you've always had. That's the peace you've always deserved. Hold your head high, guard your mind, feed your soul with what lifts you up, and never forget who you are. Thank you for giving me your time. Stay strong, stay true, and God bless you.